Now let's look at the very next sequence just to confirm this pattern, in case you're still a bit skeptical. Okay. So in the very next scene, we have the Great Mother, and I'm sorry, this one's a little bit dark, but I hope you can make that out. We have the Great Mother, okay, suspended in darkness, sending the transmitted material from her mouth. So the process begins again. So let me just backtrack. Convenience store, storage, okay? As soon as the scene ends, another black screen, we have the Great Mother transmission, okay? So the process begins again with transmission, okay? We have this material coming from the mouth. But there's something wrong here, right? But in this transmission, something is definitely amiss. The eggs that you can see here just suspended in the plasma can be interpreted as pure ideas or thought forms or truth being transmitted, the light of truth, which is which will invariably arrive into a receiver like the mind. Okay, similar to, that's why they're playing with this theme of the transmission and the radio and electricity, right? It's interchangeable with this idea of thought forms and consciousness. So this conversion process is going to happen next, of course. But then we have Bob here. You can barely see him. I'm sorry that it's so dark, but you have Bob here who is sort of hitched a ride, or is a stowaway in this transmission process, which indicates some impure ideas are being sent into the mind. Now remember, we're in the middle of this atomic bomb explosion, okay? So any various commentaries on this can be made, such as the state of the world or the state of television or whatever. You could also say that. But the core truth has to do with the state of consciousness and relates back to the faulty presumptions that man has made about his technological progress. If he be at such a low level of consciousness, then most, if we weren't at such a low level of consciousness, I should say, then it would be abundantly clear that we have a major problem here. And I think a lot of people are coming online with that. And a lot of people already know that. So you don't need me to tell you that. Now, the next sequence is back to conversion again. And this time we see a golden, gelatinous, morphic sphere of golden potential being created. Okay? This golden orb strikes me a bit as a universal recognition of order arising from chaos. Okay? Which is the idea, or can be pointed to scientifically in reality, that as a system reaches entropy and dies, novel systems will emerge. Okay, that's just another fundamental truth about nature that you can look into, and there's scientific evidence for that. Like Ilya Proginin won the Nobel Prize for that. Look him up. He worked. I have his book Order Out of Chaos. So it's that kind of idea. So the golden sphere grows and grows as this process accelerates until we are shown that this is perhaps a unified field on the right here. I know you may barely be able to see it. I know I can't see it so well, but there's this an acceleration happening through this field. Okay, so this of course is the conversion process again. And then in the very next scene, we arrive at storage again. The water and the rocks being the stored result of the conversion process. But this time, instead of being shown the world of mortals, we are being brought into the world of the immortals, or beings of higher consciousness that have learned what they needed and are trying to help others. At least that's how I'm interpreting the scene here. And as we fly over the water and toward this mysterious structure that's atop this rock tower in the middle of this giant sea, this mysterious, nebulous ocean, we can see subtle clues of the 3-in-1 aspect, again, in order from left to right. So actually in this structure itself, we're shown something very interesting. At least this is how I'm seeing it. So from left to right, first we're seeing a pyramidion, okay? Then if you look in the middle, at the top of that like swooping tower, okay, those appear to be transmission antennas. Those appear to be antennas essentially, or you know, you could also argue that there's some conversion happening. And then to the right, you have a silo, okay, which is storage. And then notice the silo has light shining on it, okay? It starts in darkness. I know some wonderful paintings that echo this sentiment that I have seen in some galleries in different places in the world, and I've seen this motif before. It's like when I see these amazing works of art, they're just stored in my body, and they come up or whatever. I'm not sure how it works, but the pyramidion to me is this totem having to do with the transmission. Okay, the tower in the center is the conversion. Okay, it's taking this transmission, converting it into something that can be sent, or something that can be used, okay? Because even in radio, I mean, if you just have a radio signal, you have to modulate that. So you have to work with that signal, and you have to use conversion to make that signal something that is human parsable, right? And then the final phase, of course, is we have storage. We have the results of the conversion process is the storage silo on the right. So it's very, very interesting. And you know, this light that subtly illuminates the silo, I think I know what this is, but I can't really describe it, so I'm not going to try. And finally, we enter through the window, and we're shown what we were just shown outside, okay, is also reflected on the inside of this structure, okay? So from left to right again, to the very left, we're shown this strange bell, which has these, this electric conductors on the top, okay? So we're being shown this transmission, and then just to the right of that's the phonograph, okay, which is very interesting because it can represent conversion, but also storage, because you have to have the record, which is the stored, right? So all of these things, and again, it's a very nuanced point, but you have to understand all these things are not separate. They overlap, they work together, and they're one and the same, okay? I think I have a slide later on where it says one and the same for a different aspect, but it's a similar sort of thing. And then, of course, so we have transmission, we have the bell, the electrodes, we have the phonograph, okay, which is conversion, and then storage with the woman here, the body, okay, in the silo. The body is the silo of the conversion process and the transmission, okay? Do you see what I'm saying? So you have this ghost in the machine, or the soul, or the spirit, whatever you want to call it, and this is the container, okay? You are the storage, or the container, okay? And then, of course, we see the lamp. Just like the light is shining onto the silo, okay, we see on the right-hand side, all the way there, we see the light, just like it was outside. So it's all reflected. So in a sense, the outside reflecting the inside, okay? It's all there in plain view. So I will stop here for this particular part, but suffice it to say, this pattern of transmission, conversion, and storage can be found repeating throughout the entire work in that specific order. And then also, you'll see it in that order, but then you'll also see the interplay of how they overlap, the 3-in-1. Okay? This is why all of the great religions, all of the great sages were obsessed with this 3-in-1 idea. Okay? Transmission, conversion, storage. Okay? This is what we're talking about. There are some more nuanced elements operating within this 3-in-1 aspect. I'm not going to go into those in the video, but maybe in the future I'll do some more videos on that topic if anyone is interested.